To choose the correct SmartTrack blade housing, the solution is to recognize the method the manufacturer has chosen for attaching a rudder and then simply match the correct SmartTrack blade housing to the kayak. If the manufacturer did not intend for a rudder to be on the kayak, it will be a custom installation. I won't address that here today. In front of us we have the 4 primary SmartTrack blade housings plus 2 additional styles that are common in Europe and elsewhere in the world. Each blade housing is delivered with all necessary hardware for installation and for attaching rudder cables. Here I have the top mount short pin, or also known as the short pin blade housing. As the name implies, the pin is relatively short. This is suitable for kayaks that have a hole drilled vertically down into the stern, but not all the way through the stern of the kayak. Here I have the top mount long pin, or just the long pin. As you can see, the pin is significantly longer. It's designed for kayaks that have a hole bored all the way down through the stern of the kayak from top to bottom. This blade housing is called the rear mount. It comes delivered with a special rear mount bracket. It's suitable for kayaks that have a flat transom or a large flat area on the stern of the kayak with which to mount this bracket. Here we have the mid-pin blade housing. As the name implies, the pin length is somewhere between the short pin and the long pin. This blade housing requires the additional purchase of the mid-pin bracket. Many Confluence kayaks and Wilderness System kayaks already have 2 nuts inserted into the transom of the kayak. This bolt pattern fits that bolt pattern. Attach it, and the mid-pin blade housing drops right in place. The final 2 blade housings I have here are the top mount threaded long pin. You can see the end of the pin is threaded for a nut. Also, there's a bayonet pin, which requires a special insert into the stern of the kayak. These 2 designs are used in Europe mostly, and not normally seen in North America. So stay with me now, and we'll go take a look at the sterns that will accommodate the installation of these 4 primary SmartTrack blade housings. So here we have a short pin blade housing. You can see it has a rather short pin attached to the blade housing. The style of stern that's suitable for the short pin blade housing is this style. We have a flat section on the stern. There's a hole bored here where the pin can drop straight in, and room for a set screw for retaining the blade housing in the hole. So, flat stern here, hole bored into an end port, and room for the set screw will accept a short pin blade housing. Here we have the SmartTrack rear mount blade housing. The rear mount blade housing comes delivered with this rear mount bracket right here. The ideal kayak for accepting this type of blade housing is one like this older Necky. We have a squared off flat transom stern. As you'll notice, the bracket will easily bolt right up to the existing bolt pattern on the transom. Or if the kayak needs it, new holes can be drilled. Once the bracket's installed, it's a matter of simply installing the blade housing on the bracket. So, rear mount blade housings, large flat transom with plenty of room to accept the rear mount bracket. So here we have the long pin blade housing. As you can see, the pin is quite long, and there's 3 holes at the bottom where you can attach the split ring for retention. The kayak stern that's suitable for this type of blade housing is one that has a hole bored all the way through from top to bottom. The blade housing drops in, and the split ring is attached here for retention. Okay, so here we have a sea kayak that's ideal for the SmartTrack mid-pin blade housing. To install the mid-pin blade housing, you have to purchase the mid-pin bracket separately. The hole spacing on the bracket is between 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch, and that's allowed by this elongated hole here. The kayak that's suitable for the mid-pin blade housing is one that has a squared off stern and existing nuts inserted into the rotomolded or fiberglass stern. Then it's a simple matter of attaching the mid-pin bracket and then dropping in the mid-pin blade housing. It's retained with a split ring, such as this blade housing here, and as the name implies, the pin length is about halfway between our short pin and the SmartTrack long pin blade housing.